this was the promise and that standard car would be. Jaguar brand in days gone by was a brand that was well received and well represented in India. Now, as circumstances have it, the two brands are owned by Tata Motors. It was a challenge to have the hotel reopened in some form. I think in the course of this coming year, a suitable person will be announced, like it may be in every company. I, on the other hand, am looking forward to the freedom to find the time to do the things I have always wanted to do. And as I've mentioned, I don't want to leave the company in a wheelchair or in a box. Thank you very much for the resounding support you have given us.
The day has finally come. Ratan Tata is stepping down as the chairman of the Tata Group after 21 long years. From just around $8 billion to $100 billion now. It's been a dream run for the Tata Group. On this special show, Ratan's Legacy, we track the journey of the man who's made the Tatas the most respected business house in India. Joining me on this special show are J.J. Irani, former Tata Sons director, Rahul Bajaj, a classmate of Ratan Tata at Cathedral School in Mumbai, A.M. Naik, chairman of Larsen & Toubro, Harsh Goenka, chairman of the RPG Group, and business historian Geeta Piramal. First to you, Geeta. You've been a business chronicler of sorts. Tell me, how will history judge Ratan Tata? A man of principles, a visionary, or an elderly statesman for industry?
Oh, definitely a visionary. He has really changed, transformed the Tata Group. He brought in, embedded into the organization new competencies for the 21st century. An organization that is got capabilities, competitive advantages like design, like a really strong IT backbone. These are amazing things. A much younger workforce, a greater respect for talent, not just being a Parsi.
When it comes to Ratan Tata, very few know him as much as you do, Dr. Irani. And I'm sure you will agree with me that it's the end of an era at Bombay House.
I think what Ratan Tata has left behind is that he has taught the group to think big. When he took over, I don't think our combined turnover was even $10 billion. In the last 20 years, it has increased to $100 billion. The opportunity was there, he grabbed it, and he taught all the companies to think big. And most importantly, to think beyond the shores of India.
Dr. Irani, yours has been a very long association with Ratan Tata. What's that one trait that makes Ratan Tata stand out?
That's a difficult one. I think the one trait is that he will not, shall we say, be bludgeoned or bullied into submission. He will stand up. He has always said that, look, if you hold a gun to my head, you either have to pull the trigger or move the gun away, because I am not going to move my head, which means that his principles he's not going to stray away from. He will, if he thinks he's right, he will persevere with his line of action.
That's an amazing observation. Turning to you, Mr. Bajaj, you've been a classmate of Ratan Tata at Cathedral School. What are your thoughts when one talks about the legacy of Ratan Tata?
Ratan has shouldered it beautifully in maintaining what I may call the Tata DNA, especially with respect to value systems and ethical values. He has fully maintained that. As he says, maybe in terms of growth and the rate of growth, the group had to sometimes pay a price for that. But because of him, the Tata Group did not compromise on values and on ethical business dealings. So I think he's done a great job.
Mr. Naik, coming to you, what's your take on Ratan Tata's legacy?
Well, he has taken the group to the different heights altogether. The sales have gone up almost 43 times during his tenure. The profit has gone up over 50 times. He has 28 odd listed entities, all doing well. And the Tata Group's, the logo, has improved its value considerably. So he leaves a great Tata brand. Tata was always a good brand, but he has taken it to be the #1 brand of India.
Absolutely, it's been an amazing journey. But turning to Mr. Goenka, tell me what, according to you, is the single biggest success for Ratan Tata?
What I believe is the single largest success of the Tata Group, it's strangely a small company, Titan. The reason behind it is India has been very poor in terms of design. We don't have any world-class products which we can be proud of. Titan has been one product which has world-class designs as far as watches are concerned, and it is now diversified into jewelry and now into many more things.
Let me bring in Mr. Nayak here. Tata may have done $8 billion to over $100 billion. But when it comes to investor returns, very few Tata Group companies score very high. Do you think the group has sacrificed on profitability and rather focused on growth?
Well, if the fundamentals of the economy are good, and if one is clear about the future being very bright, they remain in continuous investment mode. And when you are in a continuous investment mode, the ROC may be somewhat less. But then you are building the future of the company. When you acquired Chorus, it was quite a bit of an investment. When you acquired Jaguar, it was quite a bit of an investment. But today, Jaguar is making a lot of money, right? So many times you see future for its potential and not for the present. So I think you have to overall judge a person over 10 years. What he invested over 10 years, what did it achieve in terms of ROC?
Mr. Nayak, why I'm asking you this question is, today shareholder return is one of the most important parameters to judge a CEO. How do you think Ratan Tata has scored?
Well, during his time, the fact that the market cap has multiplied over 40 times, I think speaks for itself that he has created overall for the group tremendous amount of returns for the shareholder. That may not be so for every company, but collectively, altogether, I think Tata Group has given fairly good returns to all the shareholders.
Mr. Bajaj, size versus profit. What's your take?
I don't know the details of the figure. There are 90 companies in the group, and even if you take 20, 30 companies as a whole, as you said, TCS has done exceptionally well. Tata Sons, of course, is doing well and gets a lot of dividends also from returns from TCS. So, yes, there have been some views by some analysts that return on capital employed, especially of the acquisitions made, except Jaguar Land Rover, have not been probably as good as some people wanted it to be, but then you must compare it during the same period of time with other large groups. Have they done better?
When Ratan Tata took over as the chairman of Tata Sons, there was a feeling that nobody can replace JRD. Is the feeling in Bombay House somewhat similar today, Dr. Irani?
You see, they both lived in different eras and they both had different approaches. And I don't think you can say that JRD has been, his name has been erased or anything like that. He had tremendous charisma. But Ratan's reign for the last 20 years or so was in totally different circumstances. And he has excelled in those new liberalized circumstances which prevail in India today. JRD did not have that chance.
Mr. Bajaj, Tata is today India's best known brand. Is it Ratan Tata's globalization strategy that's paying off? what would you say is Ratan Tata's biggest contribution to business and industry?
His biggest contribution to his group, to the nation, to business and industry as a whole is the fact that he has been an exemplar someone others should follow. One, in terms of, I said earlier, ethics and values, extremely important, especially in today's times, the last 10 years or especially 5 years, scams and whatnot, extremely important. Second, growth, as we said earlier, from $6 billion to $100 billion. Not many large groups can boast of such a track record. And the fact that today 60% of the group's turnover comes from countries outside India. His acquisitions of Tetley, of GLR and Chorus and some others have been outstanding examples of going global.
Turning to you, Mr. Naik, what would you say is Ratan Tata's contribution in the way the Tata brand has grown?
During his tenure, the name has gone and spread all over the world because the economy is more open, right? And second, he made the best use of the opening up of economy which took place around the same time he took over, 92, 93, which means you could make easily the investment outside, right? You can bring the dividend back again inside. The restriction became less and less. He took full advantage of it. And certainly he is responsible considerably in Tata Group hierarchically, even if you see the generations, that has made a tremendous contribution to lift the Tata brand to a greater heights.
Mr. Naik, Ratan Tata is known for his hands-on approach when it comes to day-to-day operations of his group companies. Do you think that this is something that other CEOs need to emulate?
Well, Ratan Tata has its own style, of course. He's very modest. He would create and provoke ideas. Or rather, he would provoke ideas than impose on anyone. And that is really what creates a lot of innovative thinking and creativity in the organization. So he is not a command and control type person. He is empowering the various companies. And fortunately, there are 28 biggest companies which are all listed. So they have their own boards, they have their own CEOs. They run day-to-day operations. And he chairs the boards. And obviously, as a chairman, he gives a lot of importance to the ideas given by others, but also brings things like, can we not acquire Chorus? I mean, those kinds of big global thinking has come due to him.
Yeah, it wasn't a command and control kind of a management system. But turning to you, Harsh, what do you think was the most difficult phase in Ratan Tata's career? The failure of Chorus acquisition, the Nano debacle, or being dragged into the Neera Radia controversy?
I think what he would really be unhappy would have been, in a way, the failure of Nano. Nano brought the Tata Group into the limelight globally. He had put all his bets on the car. We saw the huge surge of publicity and expectations from that car. We know how personally involved he was in terms of making it a success. And its failure would have personally disappointed him a lot. Yes, he was a private person and the entire Neera Radia issue would have hurt him, but that would have been for a few days and he would have got over it, and by now everything is forgotten. But I think the Nano failure, he would have sort of kept it in his heart.
Dr. Irani, I'm sure this is a sensitive issue for you. Did the controversy surrounding the Neera Radia tape ever come up during your conversation with him? This must have been very trying times for him.
I have no comments about that. I think he handled it in a very dignified manner, and that subject was not very often discussed between us.
Turning to you, Geeta, there is no doubt that Ratan Tata drove from the front, but increasingly CEOs are taking a back seat, restricting their role to big picture issues. Do you think that the era of personality driven business is coming to an end?
No, I don't agree with you at all. We have to have personalities. Business is about people in the end. It's not robotic. He's a decision maker. He's shown that time and time again. And people respond, means people want leaders, charismatic leaders whom they can follow.
We slip into a quick break here, but Ratan Tata's legacy continues on the other side.